Welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today in this video we'll be focusing on enchantments. I'll be showing lots of things in this video, so stick around if you want to know stuff about enchantments, or if you just enjoy my videos you can watch this anyway. I'll be showing you how to get enchantments, what enchantments have as features, and how to put them on your tools and armor. So the best well-known way of enchanting is probably using an enchanting table with bookshelves around it. You can get different level enchantments, and so here's a level 31, and the way an enchantment table works is there'll be this one which consumes 1 level, this one that consumes 2 levels, and this one that consumes 3 levels. So this one you would need 24 levels to do it, but it would only take away 3. Depending on the bookshelves around it, you can change the different amounts of levels and the different enchantments. You can see this says Bane of Arthropods, let's say, and it's also got ... question mark. They all have that, and that means that you could also get other enchantments with it. Okay, so we've got Fire Aspect 2, we do it, and we also got Smite 4, Knockback 2, and what? This is very good luck! So anywhere here where I've placed bookshelves do count towards the enchantment table. So this one will currently be at a level 30. If I remove this, it's now at 28. Now every bookshelf counts as 2 levels. And if I was to put one here, it wouldn't count, and actually it blocks these ones. And if I was to put one out here, not in the ring, it wouldn't count at all. Just this one's been missed out. But if I put it here, it will get counted. So that's the basics of enchantments with bookshelves and an enchantment table. You can do it without any bookshelves. It will just be like level 4, level 3 and level 2 and like really low level ones, and they usually are not so good. You can see these are just level 1, so it's like sharpness 1, unbreaking 1, but they're not very good. Another way you can enchant is if you get a anvil, so you can combine the enchantments of the same type of item. So you couldn't do this with like a iron sword and a diamond sword. You could only do it with 2 diamond swords or 2 iron swords or something like that. But I could add the knockback 2 to the sharpness 5 and use that as a way of combining. When you use an anvil, it uses up levels, and this isn't the amount you need to have, and then it will take away 1 or something. It takes away this amount. You can also add a enchanted book to a tool to enchant it. That's a very good way to enchant things exactly how you want it, because you can get a bunch of books and then just add them to any sort of tool. A book you can add to anything that it will go on. If you had like a diamond sword with sharpness, this could only go on another diamond sword. You can put it on a netherite sword, or you can put it on a diamond axe or something like that. A really good way to get the enchanted books to put on your things is using librarian villagers. If you put down a lectern near a villager, it will become a librarian, and one thing you can do is break it and replace it, and then you'll get different trades. So you can just keep doing this until you get one you want. So let's say I wanted feather falling. I can then lock this guy's trades by doing a trade with him. You can do any trade he has, just do that and it's locked. And now if I remove this, he'll still keep his librarian thing and will never swap that trade. Also, if you want to make these cheaper, you can zombify and unzombify. There are lots of videos on how to make special systems that do that, so I'm not really going to go over it in this video. One really good thing about this is using this, you can get every single enchantment other than one. There's one enchantment you cannot get with villagers. So this one enchantment can only be got through piglin bartering in the nether, or finding it in loot chests. So if I spawn this guy in, this is a piglin. You can right click on these guys with a gold ingot or drop a gold ingot next to them. Then they'll take a few seconds looking at it, just check you haven't scanned them and done a fake plastic one or something. And then they'll chuck some sort of random item. And one of the items they can give you is a soul speed book. Now that is the one enchantment you can't get from villagers. So those are some ways you can get those enchantments on books. Another way you can get it is through loot chests or fishing. Now I will show you what enchantments there are, what tools they can go on, and loads of stuff like that. The flint and steel can accept 3 enchantments. Cursive Vanishing, which means if you die with it on you, it disappears. Unbreaking Free, which makes your tools lose durability slower. Mending, which allows you to heal your tools by collecting XP orbs while holding it or wearing it. A shovel can accept a few more. It can accept Efficiency 5, which makes you break blocks way quicker with it. Silk Touch, which means in some cases you'll get different drops to if you didn't have Silk Touch. Let's say you break a grass block. If you didn't have Silk Touch, you would get dirt. If you have Silk Touch, you get the grass block itself. Unbreaking Free, I explained that before. Then there's Fortune. Fortune means that you get more of things when you break stuff with it. Let's say you broke gravel with this shovel and you didn't have Fortune. There's a 1 in 10 chance you'll get a flint from it. If you do it with Fortune, you're more likely to get that, and I believe with Fortune 3 you're 100% gonna get a flint from your gravel. Then Mending, I explained that before, and Cursive Vanishing as well. Then we have the Pickaxe. The Pickaxe can accept all the same enchantments as the shovel. So Efficiency 5, Silk Touch, Unbreaking Free, Fortune, Efficiency, Silk Touch, Unbreaking, Fortune, Mending, and Cursive Vanishing. Enchantments with multiple levels are more powerful on the higher levels. So let's say you are using Efficiency and you have Efficiency 1. That will increase your speed by a little bit. If you have Efficiency 5, it's way faster. The Axe can accept all the same enchantments as the Pickaxe. So Efficiency, Silk Touch, Unbreaking, Fortune, Mending, and Cursive Vanishing. And also you can have Sharpness, which makes you do more damage to everything. You can have Smite, which makes you do even more damage, but only to undead mobs. And you've got Bane of Arthropods that's like Smite, but for arthropods, and I think that just includes spiders, cave spiders, endermites, and silverfish, which most people choose not to go for Bane of Arthropods because it affects such a small amount of mobs. Then we've got the Hoe, which since recently it has become the best thing for breaking certain blocks, so it's also got all the same enchantments that the Pickaxe and Shovel had. So it has Efficiency, Silk Touch, Unbreaking, Fortune, Mending, and Cursive Vanishing. Next we have the Fishing Rod, which can accept 2 new enchantments, plus a few of the ones I've already shown. It can accept Luck of the Sea, which means that when you fish, you'll get generally better items if you have Luck of the Sea. Then there's Lure, which means you'll catch more items, so you get fish more often. Then there's Unbreaking, Mending, and Cursive Vanishing. Now we have the last one for tools, which is Shears. Shears can accept Unbreaking, Mending, and Cursive Vanishing. Now we have our first combat item, which is the Bow. The Bow can accept some new enchantments. It can accept Power, which increases the amount of damage you do. Punch, which makes you do more knockback when you hit something. Flame, which means that your arrows are on fire and light the things you hit on fire. Infinity, which means that you only need 1 arrow, and when you shoot your bow, it does not consume that arrow, but you do need 1. If you have no arrows, you can't shoot. If you were using like spectral arrows or arrows with potion effects, it still consumes those. Unbreaking Free, Mending, and Cursive Vanishing. One other thing about Infinity is you can't have Infinity and Mending. So basically you've got to decide whether you have a bow that doesn't need arrows or a bow that can last forever. The Sword has a lot of enchantments, but there are a few multi-choice ones. The Sword can have one of these 3 enchantments, but you can't have 2 or 3 of them. You can have Sharpness, you can have Smite, and you've got Bane of Arthropods. Then you can also put Knockback, which makes you do more knockback. Fire Aspect, which makes you light whatever you hit on fire. Then there's Unbreaking, which you know, Mending, Curse Vanishing, and there's also Looting, which means that when you kill things, you get better luck with what they drop. Then there's Sweeping Edge, which allows you to use this feature with a sword, which is if there are multiple mobs close together, or players, or whatever you're hitting, you can hit them all at once. Now, with Sweeping Edge, it means that you'll do more damage to the side hit one. For the helmet, there's a bunch of different enchantments you can have. You can have one of these 4. Now, you can't have multiple of them. It's the same as like Smite, Bane of Arthropods, and Sharpness. You can only choose one. The options are Protection, which is like Sharpness. It affects everything, but not as good as the specific ones. Then Fire Protection, which is super good against fire, but doesn't affect anything else. Blast Protection, which is super good against explosions, like Creeper explosions and TNT, but has no effect on anything else. Projectile Protection, which is really good against projectiles, but doesn't have any effect with anything else. Then also for the helmet, you can have Respiration, which allows you to hold your breath longer underwater. You can have the Unbreaking, Mending, and Cursive Vanishing, same with pretty much everything. Then there's also Aqua Affinity, which allows you to mine stuff underwater quicker. Then there's Thorns, which means if you get hit, you deal a bit of damage back, or you have a chance to deal a bit of damage back. And then there's Cursive Binding, which means if you had that on this helmet and then you put the helmet on, you wouldn't be able to take it off. The only way to get it off then is to die. Then for the chest plate, you can have one of the protection things again. Thorns, Unbreaking, Mending, Cursive Vanishing, and Cursive Binding. Leggings is exactly the same as the chest plate. Protection types, Thorns, Unbreaking, Mending, Cursive Vanishing, and Cursive Binding. For the boots, there's an awful lot of enchantments you can have. So you can have one of the protection types, Thorns, Unbreaking, Mending, Cursive Vanishing, Cursive Binding. You can also have Feather Falling, which makes you take less damage from full damage. Depth Strider, which allows you to swim quicker underwater. Frost Walker, which means if you walk to the edge of a lake or something, ice forms and you can walk basically straight across the lake. But you can't have Depth Strider and Frost Walker, so you have to pick between those. Then there's Soul Speed, that allows you to run really quickly on Soul Sand or Soul Soil. This is the one you have to get from Piglin bartering or whatever, and you can't get it from villager trading. The shield can only have 3 enchantments: Unbreaking, Mending, and Cursive Vanishing. Then for the Trident, you can have Loyalty, which makes your Trident come back to you when you throw it. Impaling, which makes you do more damage. Riptide, that means if you're in water and you throw it, you kind of go with it. Channeling, which means if you hit something during a thunderstorm with this, it will strike lightning. Now, you can't have Riptide and Loyalty on the same thing. Also, you can't have Riptide and Channeling on the same Trident. Now we have the Crossbow, which you can have multi-shot, which makes you shoot 3 arrows instead of 1. There's Quick Charge, which allows you to pull it back and like prime it quicker. Then there's Piercing, which means you can kind of shoot through one mob and hit another mob behind it. Then there's Unbreaking, Mending, and Cursive Vanishing. I'm going to enchant a pair of netherite boots with the enchantments I would put on there to show you how to put it all on there without it getting too expensive. So even though I wouldn't put Cursive Binding and Cursive Vanishing, I'm going to include those so that it's more enchantments and therefore a better example to show that it works with anything, because nothing has more than 9 options. So I've given myself 10,000 levels and I'm in survival mode, and I'll show you how you can do this. So first what you want to do is put the boots or whatever you're doing in here, then go through and look at this cost and see what costs the most. Okay, so I've kind of arranged these in a way, and what you want to do is get the 2 most expensive ones and put them together. Now if they were different prices, put the more expensive one on the left and the less expensive one on the right. Keep like halving the number of books by combining the two most expensive, then the third and fourth most expensive, then the fifth and sixth, and just keep, you know what I mean by that. Then netherite boots can go in. Once you've got two main ones and then any spares or whatever, put in the more expensive main one. So we can see that's 37 and that's 18. So we put in the more expensive main one. There we go, take that out. Then we've got these enchanted boots, we can put them in, put the second most expensive main one in, put that back, and we can then add any spares. And you can see we have fully enchanted boots. This is the maximum amount of enchantments you can have on one thing in Minecraft. And I just forgot, it's Cursive Binding. I can't take it off. Also, it's Cursive Vanishing, so if I die to take it off, it disappears. So, hopefully this has taught you everything you needed to know. If it hasn't, you can always comment down below and I'll try and help. So, with my still Cursive Binding boots on that I can't take off, like, subscribe, hit that bell to get notified. Bye!